Hey, it's Bret Gregory. So excited to be here with you today. If you are just joining us, please go to the questions box and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from, because we got a great program for you today, and I want to be able to give you a shout out. So I'll start off by saying, hey, hello to Jay from Virginia, Mark from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome. Hi, Yosef. Good to have you here. Hey, Chris from Salt Lake City. Awesome to have you with us here. And we have a awesome program for you today. I'm here with a really good friend of mine, and we got something really special for you. So I've been really excited. Last week I was out. Some of you may know I went to the Olympics. I took my family to Rio, and we had an absolutely amazing time. It was so incredible to just feel the Olympic spirit and have the opportunity to be there and just see all the amazing events and amazing people. And now that we got back, I have a very special opportunity here to introduce you to a really good friend of mine, somebody who is, I'm really excited about introducing you to. So I want to introduce you to my friend Brian Wetton, Dr. Brian Wetton. He's got a PhD, and he earned his PhD at Berkeley in computer science, which is really impressive. He's also raised over $20 million for 2 Silicon Valley startups and become an internationally known speaker, as well as been a part of a $400 million IPO, that's initial public offering, and repeatedly made and lost millions. I can relate to that. And burnt out twice. I can also relate to that. After an emotional and spiritual crisis, he left his career for 6 years of full-time personal growth work, including getting his MA in spiritual psychology from the University of Santa Monica. And today, Dr. Wetton serves as an executive coach, leadership consultant, and keynote speaker. And he helps business leaders turn soft skills into hard results while also creating lives they love, and helps transformational leaders make a bigger difference in the world. And he is also the author of the #1 international bestseller, Yes, Yes, Hell No. I can't wait to hear a little bit about that. That's the little book for making big decisions, and writes a regular column for the Huffington Post. So just want to say thank you to Dr. Brian Wetton for being here with us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a whole lot of fun having you here. So just give us a little bit, I read a little bit about your background, but just give us a kind of an overview of your story, a little bit about who you are, and what our audience can expect to learn from you today.
Yep. Let me actually screen share, because I actually have some pretty slides for that.
Sure, that'd be great. And while you're doing that, I'll give another couple shout outs to Anil from San Diego. Welcome, Anil. And Pam from Atlanta. Hey, Deborah Jensen. Hi, Deborah. And Michael from Los Angeles. Good to have all of you here with us. If you're just joining us, go to the questions box and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. Go ahead, Brian.
Awesome. So I've got some slides up. I do want this to be highly interactive. We do have some content today, but Brett, you and I can, there's a bunch of space for us to talk and explore some of these topics. And I just so appreciate you and how we've had such similar background in so many ways.
Yeah.
Some of the same rather painful lessons and then purpose shining through. So who I'm speaking to today, if you're online, you're probably a coach, a counselor, a healer, or a conscious entrepreneur. In some way, you're spiritual and purpose driven. You love serving your clients or patients, but you usually have some type of conflicts over selling. That's what we're going to be particularly talking about today. You might also feel overwhelmed by marketing. If that's you, I'm glad you're talking to Bret, because he does some of the most simplified, most like just take it all, the complication out stuff in this space I'm aware of. So if that's you, you're in the right place. And you want to deliver on your calling, make a big impact, make a great living, doing the work you love, and in ways you love doing. You want to love your business, every piece of it. And if that's you, all right, then my intentions are to provide you with as much value as we possibly can today. We'll have any time for questions, for opening up to things, anything we can do to get you as much value as possible. We'll be giving you a gift. It's actually a 3-part video training, and this is part of a launch. We have a Selling by Giving training coming up starting August 29th. So the third intention is to connect with people who might be a fit to do more work with us. This launch for the Selling by Giving is the first time we've ever taken what I've spent the last 10 years at our individual one-year clients are $10,000 each, our students in our one-year program. And it's the first time we've taken the foundations of all of that and put it into a much more accessible format for people. So we're really excited about that program. So in terms of me, just a little bit about my background.
Keep going.
Everybody laughs at this photo. This is me as an Eagle Scout at 14. I was very proud of my nerdiness, and yes, somehow that led to me being a Berkeley PhD. So I'm hanging out at Berkeley in 1993 to 96 when the internet hit. When it was a toy, something that we were doing as a research project, all of a sudden became public. And that was my research. My research was third generation internet software, while the first generation of the internet started being built out.
Wow.
So I did my master's at Illinois. I then went to Berkeley. Stanford rejected me. They suck. But all of a sudden, a lot of stuff came out.
They rejected you and Elon Musk, right?
Exactly. So Stanford sucks. But Berkeley rocks. The internet took off. And I faced a choice. Do I play it safe? Back then, my dream was to make $60,000 a year as an engineer. That was my stated goal.
Wow. To
get my PhD, make $60K a year. So I was on track. I was at the #1 school in my field. I had job offers galore lined up. I could have played it safe, but instead I took a leap. I ended up raising $20 million from a bunch of top-level venture capitalists, $400 million IPO, a trial by fire, 8 years of business learning. I compressed 50 years of business into 8 very intense years. And as part of that, I discovered I didn't know what I didn't know, particularly around people. I remember my CEO of the company that bought my company, Paul Larson, sat me down for my 1999 performance review and said, "Brian, you're really smart. We love how smart you are. You've got such a big brain. And you would be so much more effective if you could at least pretend occasionally to listen to other people."
Awesome.
Yep. So I realized that, the big fat brain stuff is the easy problems, and the people are the complicated problems. And so after the second burnout, because once wasn't enough, I dove into personal and spiritual growth. 6 years at the University of Santa Monica. I did a lot of stuff with a lot of people. I invested a lot of money and a lot of time, really went in full gonzo. I went from overachieving, addicted, agnostic into diving into the world of woo-woo. As I did that, I started just obsessing with this question: why isn't there a 10-mile long line for this stuff? And in fact, it seemed to me that oftentimes the more conscious people were, the more purpose-driven they were, the more value they had to offer, the more they were actually on course following their calling, the harder it was for them to build a successful business doing so. And that just didn't make any sense. In Silicon Valley, if you have more value, better offerings, people find a way to get it. Build a better mousetrap and the world would be the path to your door. But Brad, as you've probably seen in our space, like the rules change. It's all of a sudden, all sorts of strange dynamics kick in, and it's almost like the law of gravity got repealed.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So I started obsessing with that question, became a leader in the field. Over the last 10 years, I've coached thousands of people. I've had the honor of coaching a number of the biggest names in the industry. I'm a little bit behind the scenes because we've been really focused on our building a family. We have 2 young daughters now that we're
awesome. Congratulations.
Really excited about. Thank you. Most important thing about me to know.
Yep, for sure.
And so I'm now become a leader in the field. Jack Canfield graciously wrote a foreword for me on my book, Yes, Yes, Hell No. It's an Amazon bestseller that talks about this core dynamic. And Yes, Yes, Hell No, I wrote the book to help demystify this core problem in our field, which is that in our industry, the fundamental dynamic that changes everything is that the more value you have to offer, the more that people will intuitively and rationally be called to that. Yes, yes, I want to work with you. But their unconscious fears of change, of failure, of success, of worthiness, all their unconscious fears come up. You've heard about the comfort zone, right? Every time you leave the comfort zone, you experience fear. So if you're in the business of change, helping people move outside their comfort zone, you automatically are going to be evoking what I call a yes, yes, hell no response in the ideal clients or patients you work with. Okay. But your clients and patients don't know this. Instead, they tell you what I call the big lie. And the big lie, which you've almost certainly heard, Brett, you've heard this, I'm sure. I'd love to work with you, but.
Sure.
Who hasn't? Exactly. I'd love to work with you, but I just don't have the time or the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So occasionally that's true. Sometimes it's really true. More often, if it's somebody really qualified, you know that they could be a good fit for you. The issue is that they're actually attracted and repelled by your offer. They're inspired and scared at the same time. Okay? And so I ended up having to basically reinvent enrollment, reinvent selling, reinvent large pieces of business in order to figure out how do we do business from a way that we truly love, that the other people truly love. How do we be in this dance together? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, 100%. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay. So the paradox of our field is that the more value you have to offer, the harder it can be to get clients. That doesn't make any sense, right? The more value, the harder it can be to get clients because you scare them. So you actually
let me check in with our audience here, because I can relate to that 100%. Have you ever, if you're watching this right now, have you ever scared away a client by, you know, and this is certainly in your opinion, but have you ever scared away a client by offering them too much value? And just give me a quick yes or no. I know I have. 100%. Yes or no. Yvonne says yes. I put in yes. Whoever, if you feel like you've ever scared away a client by offering too much value. Stephanie says yes. Write the word yes. Okay, keep going, Brian.
Perfect. So paradoxically, like if you've looked around and you found like that idiot, there's that idiot you know in your niche that's a competitor to you, and they only have like 2 inches of value, but they have like 20 feet of aggressive marketing and hard sales and manipulation and like pummeling people into buying. Have you ever looked at that person and you're like, what the F is going on?
So well, again, let me check in again. So on to the last question, Joseph said yes. Yes. Jerry said yes. Rashawn said big yes. Maureen said not yet. Well, okay, cool. Alex said yes. Now, the next question, have you ever seen, you know, let's pull it in air quotes, a competitor, somebody who, you know, has clients that you would love to have, and they've got lots of clients. It sure looks like they're getting an abundance of clients. Looks like they're signing people up right and left, and you know you've got way more value than they offer. If that's happened to you, write the word yes. So Yvonne said yes just last week. Chris says yes. Stephanie says yes. Lynn says OMG. I agree. So I think we're on the same page.
Perfect. So the paradox of this work is it's actually easier to make money if you offer a little bit of value, like 1 inch of value and 3 feet of enrollment, than if you offer 3 feet of value and 1 inch of enrollment.
And that is, yeah, I mean, you know, when you sit here and think about that logically, it's completely backwards. You would think, oh my gosh, if the more value I offer, the more people would sign up, right? But that's not what we experience in our business world.
Yep. And by the way, if this resonates at all, get the book. It's on Amazon. It's, I don't know, $10, $15, whatever they're charging. People comments on that. Some people called it the best self-help book they've ever read in 30 years in the field. It's a really, really good book.
I'm going to pop in the link in just a minute here, so you can keep going.
Cool. So best $15 you'll spend all year probably. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the biggest problem of our industry, because I want to set up the gift we're going to give you, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 keys, and then do a little bit more on enrollment. Okay. So the biggest problem of our industry, I believe, is that most people don't have a reliable map for how to get from where they're at to where they want to be. And one of the biggest reasons is that the rules for our industry are totally different than those that you normally see modeled in traditional business. And so a lot of the things that work in our industry are the opposite of what works for a traditional business. So if you get talking to a lot of traditional business consultants, you try to model things you see work for your local dentist or you know, accountant, that's not going to work for you. Okay? And there are all these amazing people offering all these amazing services, and then there's all these amazing programs and trainings and coaches, but it's like we haven't figured out how to put all the puzzle pieces together very well. in the industry.
And I just want to, so everybody's saying yes, 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 but we have one dissenting opinion. Totally okay. Galit, and I probably butchered your name, and I completely apologize. Giving less value, I so don't agree. I would feel cheated. What do you say to that, Brian?
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying you should reduce your value. The issue is not to rip people off. The issue is to slow down and actually learn how to work with people's fears explicitly. So it's how you learn how to
you go on a date before you propose.
Exactly. That's a big one. You want to learn how to build relationship with people so that you're not, right now, most people feel stuck between hard sales or no sales, right? Either they have to become a used car salesman or they flirt. You know, hey, I'm here if anybody wants to give me money. Right?
I can relate to that for sure.
So you're the pickup artist in the bar, or you're just like flirting and hoping somebody will notice you. One of those two. Okay.
Awesome.
But neither of those work. So you got to learn how to get into conversation, how to enroll clients, again, in this completely different way than anything you probably have ever seen modeled around selling. There's actually 6 stages to the process of transformational change, and enrollment is actually just walking people through those 6 stages. And now that's beyond the scope of what we can do today. That's one of the things we cover in the Selling by Giving training that we've got starting on the 29th. It's a game changer. Some of the biggest names in our industry, I'm under confidentiality, so I can't name names, but literally some of the biggest names have said that in 40 years in the industry, it's the first approach they've seen that they can actually do themselves, because it's in such clean, total integrity.
Cool. And I just want to point out, because and so for those of you who are watching this right now, if you do webinars or you intend to do webinars, write the word webinar. And if you do webinars today or you intend to do webinars, just go ahead and write the word webinar in the questions box. And the reason why I'm asking is because I think many of you do. And I just want to point out, one of the things that I love that Brian does is just being completely transparent, saying, hey, we do, just so you know, we got a program that's coming up and we're going to be, making an offer to you. And, just feel free to check it out if you get value from this. And so I want to point that out, because a lot of people will do webinars and they kind of keep the thing hidden that they're going to be offering the whole time. And I feel like it's better to do what Brian's doing right now. Just be really transparent and upfront. Hey, I'm going to teach you some good stuff. If you like what I got, I'm going to make you an offer. And just like, it just removes all the pent up energy that I see happen sometimes on webinars or when people are selling from stage, when the audience is like, okay, here comes the pitch, or I know it's going to happen soon. And you just diffuse all of that. And I love the way you're doing that.
Thank you. Let me just tell a quick story on that topic, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Like, just really drive this home for people. So I actually can't use this name. So Deborah Poneman is Marcy Shimo's business partner. And in April, May, she calls me up frantic. She's like, Brian, I've got one of these pitch fests. And I love doing these pitch fests because I get to speak and I love speaking. And I always get the best marks on value delivered. Everybody says I get one of the best speeches they've ever seen. They jump up and down, standing ovation. But I always get the worst sales. And they've got me on the 3rd day after 2 days of hard sales, pitch people, pick through the audience, and like nobody's going to buy anything. But I've got this awesome program, and I can't stand that there's going to be all these people who could use it, and they're not going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sat down, we did emergency surgery on her speech, and actually applied these principles of selling by giving. We restructured her speech this way, including just what you said. Transparency is a big piece of it. Mm-hmm. And she went to the speech, gave her speech, and I get a text message back from her. I asked her, how did it go? And she just says, beyond the beyond. And I'm like, okay, it felt good. Show me the money. What were the numbers? So I finally talked to her. In a room of 150 people for a $365 Canadian offer she made, okay, on one of the worst time slots in this thing, she, in a completely clean way, completely transparent, in a way that she got the standing ovation, everybody loved the value they received, and 79% of the room bought her program.
Wow, 79%. Now I've been doing this a while, and I've done millions of dollars of sales. I've never converted 79% of a room. That's amazing.
I haven't either, to be fair. So
that's awesome.
The student may have been better than the teacher on this one. So
well, and I just want to shout out. So everybody's saying they do webinars. eLearn, Yvonne, Pam, Stephanie, Galette, Nikki Roz, Deborah, Jensen. So all of you guys are doing webinars. So take this to heart. And I think if you if you like what he said, write the word transparency. So I mean, if I just want to make sure everybody's connected and tuned in here. If you like what he just said, write the word transparency in the chat roll, because I think that makes a big difference. It's one of the things that makes the difference. So go ahead, continue.
Perfect. So we're modeling this whole process together for you. Okay. So the problem for if you have this problem where you don't have a map, and also you've got issues around selling your services, that's gonna be a problem for you, and it's a problem for the people that you're here to serve. One of the things that I feel, and I'm curious what other people feel, I've been asking a lot of people this, it feels to me like ever since about January, the pace of change on the planet just kicked into another gear. And like intuitively, logically, you look around, Donald Trump, everybody's freaking out. Like it's like the pace of spiritual evolution just kicked into the next gear. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people. If you're a coach, a counselor, a healer, a transformational leader, an author, a speaker, a conscious entrepreneur, there are literally millions of people out there who are begging for what you have. Okay, but they don't know how to do it because they don't know how to buy, because this whole yes, yes, hell no thing. Mm-hmm. Right. So we need to give you the map for how to get from where you're at to where you want to be, and then start helping you figure out what are the essential shifts to make in order to get there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Perfect. So we've got a gift for you, and I think, Brett, you've got a link for them as well. Yep, I put a simple, easy to type in link that you can use as a redirect. And in it is our 3 video series and 3 workbooks. The 7 stages of practice building, the 4 keys to unlock your practice, the 5 conversations to attract and enroll your ideal clients. Now, this is 10 years of trial and error. I probably put about $1 million of my own money into figuring out what you're going to get in these 3 little books and 3 videos. Wow. So 10 years, $1 million for an hour of your time. Like, please.
So if you appreciate that, just go ahead and write the word thanks. If you appreciate that, so that's like $1 million in 10 years and a free gift right here. So this is I assume part of your selling by giving. You know, and how you can offer a ton of value, but still do it in such a way that actually converts. And so this, I think, goes back to Galet's question about you know, giving value, and this is a great way to do it. So Yvonne, Stephanie, Maureen, Deborah, Pam, Mark, Claudia, everybody's saying thanks. So thank you. This is fantastic. So click on this link here. If you want to get this 6-figure practice, we'll put this link in again a little bit, but go ahead and click on that link and you can opt in and get these amazing books that'll really help you grow your business.
Cool. So you've got the gift. We'll give it to you again at the end. So I want to give you a couple sneak previews of what you're going to learn in this training, the 3-part training, as well as we're also modeling all this selling by giving stuff that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Right, so there's 4 keys. I call it let me bring it back. So that middle one, the 4 keys to unlock your practice. Okay, let me just explain what those 4 keys are. These are the 4 and only 4 things you have to do in order to have a full, abundant business as a coach, counselor, healer, transformational leader. So if you feel overwhelmed, like there are a million things on your to-do list, there's a million things you think you need to do. Everybody's, you know, every time you open your inbox, there's 20 new people offering trainings or coachings or programs, all claiming to be the one true answer to everything you need, right? So if that's you, then just breathe. We're going to help you organize all of that so you can figure out which are the right trainings, what are the right programs for you, okay? And it starts by realizing that there's really just 4 things that you need to master in order to have a full, abundant business. The first one's conscious value and pricing. Now, each of these are conscious. You have to do them in a different way than what you see typically modeled in business. Okay, and that's one of the things you're going to learn more about in the free gift. Is we're going to learn more details about what that problem is and what the difference is, and why traditional business is totally the opposite of what works for us. Okay, so with the first one, conscious value and pricing, the key is to understand that value doesn't live in you. if you're interviewing for a job and you're competing with all these other applicants, then yes, value lives in you. What are your credentials? What's your expertise? Where did you go to school? Yada, yada, yada. Okay? It is. You're coming in and doing a job. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing transformational work, you know, it doesn't live in you. The value lives in the client or the patient, not you. Mm-hmm. Okay? You can't possibly know what value a change would have for somebody without talking to them. And so that's why we say that the foundation of the entire business model of conscious business is what we call the value conversation. And we teach you really specific, concrete ways to talk to people, to measure, to listen to the value, both inside out and outside in, the internal and external changes they most want to make. Okay? But what most of us do, again, we're like back in the bar flirting, hoping that people actually understand what value they want. But they don't. Again, this yes, yes, hell no thing, the more value you offer, the more somebody might really want it, the scarier it can be for them to even own that value.
Right.
Right. So it's one of the biggest gifts you can give people is to slow down and talk to them about where are you at, where do you want to be, what's in the way, what would really serve you, what's your dream, mm-hmm. what's your goal? I call it a big win. What is it that's so inspiring that it's also scary?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. So that's the first key. It's, again, everything you think you know about value and pricing, we do a 3-day retreat in October. It comes bundled with the Selling by Giving training that we've got coming up. And in that training, people walk in and walk out different people. And the biggest shift they make is we help them experientially in their body shift from worrying about their worth. What's my worth? What's my worth? Am I good enough? Do I have enough credentials? I'm not good enough. Right? If I'm the only one who has that voice in my head, right? But if you also have that voice in there, we help people experientially shift from this default setting of proving worth that you've been trained to live in through traditional business and interviewing for jobs and trying to get A's in school, to changing your frame and experientially learning how to focus on providing value instead of proving your worth. Now, again, I could explain that concept in 30 seconds. I regularly work with clients for a year or more, taking that distinction deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Right? So I'm pointing towards a path here to walk, not just an idea to learn.
Right.
Okay, so then the second key is conscious positioning.
Oh, and I just put a note in there. One thing that really jumped out, what you just said, ask your customers, what is so inspiring that it scares you? And I loved that. So if you love that, write the word love, because that was awesome. What is so inspiring that it scares you? I had a little typo in there, but yeah, go for it. Okay. So
and you might think about it for yourself, like with your business goals, like if we could really help you take your business to the next level, what's that goal that's so inspiring it scares you? You're like, I don't know if I'm worthy of that.
And go ahead. What is your goal? Go ahead and tell us. What is your goal that is so inspiring to you, it scares you? The big one, the one that you're afraid to even tell us. Go ahead. That's the one I want to hear. Like my big one was selling my business and starting a wellness community in Costa Rica, which I did. And let me tell you, that really scared me a lot.
That's one of the things I love about you. I mean, that was a mother of all yes, yes, hell no's. I mean, that was huge.
Oh yeah, that was a big one. Yes, definitely.
All right, so while people are bubbling on that one, we'll see how many people actually type in their thing.
Well, I see a lot of people wrote the word love, and I see, yeah, Michael says $1 million per year within 3 years. Yvonne says making high 6 figures, serving massage therapists, launching their business. Awesome.
Great.
Yeah. So what are the big, what is so inspiring to you, your big goal, that it scares you? Share that with us. Goal to be a TV host, bigger and more influential than Oprah. Gosh, I have a client to refer you to, Galit, who already is a TV show host. So Joseph, sharing my message to 1 million people. There you go.
Brilliant.
Now you're talking. Beautiful.
Perfect. And then one of the biggest keys that I teach is the bigger the vision, the smaller the steps. The bigger the vision, the smaller the steps. This work is fundamentally not about worthiness, it's about willingness. Another way of saying it is the bigger the tree, the deeper the roots need to be. And so in doing this work, like my experience of this was when I got into all of this transformational work, I got clear that my big vision was to be on Oprah and have a 1 million copy best-selling book. And I also wanted to do it in integrity. And so as I checked in, I actually got this really clear download from Spirit just saying, not yet. Not no, just, okay, you want to walk the path, fine. Let's do it one step at a time, right? And so it's one step, one step, one step. And every step of the way for me, I've been prepared. All sorts of challenges and opportunities and growth have happened so that I can be the leader, to be the authentic leader that can hold space for more and more people and more purpose.
Awesome. Awesome. And Ken says he wants to help 70 million workers learn to love their job. Awesome. Yvonne says, brilliant. Lynn, being visible, making a difference. Claudia, Moon-Powered Living TV show as a forum for all sorts of health and wealthy living tied into the real rhythms of life. I love it. Yeah, you guys are on this. Good stuff.
Nice. Beautiful. So then the second one is conscious positioning. Okay, this is your niche. How do you describe what you do in ways that people know exactly who to refer to you? And again, the rules totally change. So if you're a dentist, say you're a pediatric dentist, and you tell me, what do you do? I'm a pediatric dentist. Oh, well, I know who to send to you, our daughters, if they need teeth cleaning. Okay? It's built in, okay, in traditional business. But in our world, you're actually, the core value of transformational work is that you're actually sort of have like X-ray vision where you see below the surface. How many people have an experience where when you're working with a client or a potential patient, it's like you can see what's going on for them better than they can?
Yeah.
Right? And you've got all these tools and modalities and solutions that you know are the answer to their problem. But they look at you like, you start talking about what you want to do with them, and they're like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're speaking a foreign language. Right?
Yeah.
And so there's a whole process here of learning how to describe what we call the acknowledged needs people have, and then tell the story of your ideal clients or patients and the value they create. So what we call creating your positioning story. And when you're able to tell that really clear and compellingly, then all of a sudden you shift from trying to describe what you do, which isn't helpful to anybody, to being able to tell the story of the value your clients or patients receive. And when you make that shift, all of a sudden we do this with our groups, our one-year groups, and we don't let people stop until they've got a positioning story where at least half the people in the team could think of somebody they might refer to them.
Wow.
Okay, so imagine that you were at a networking event and half the time you talk to somebody, they could think of a possible referral for you, as opposed to like 0.
I want to make sure I got it. You say you're positioning story instead of saying what you do. Was that, did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah, your elevator pitch is what works for if you're a dentist. But if you're a coach, counselor, healer, conscious entrepreneur, you trying to describe what you do is a hopeless task because it's actually answering the wrong question. So we help you change the question, answer the questions that matter, and then everything changes.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. The third one then is conscious enrollment. And this is the one we do the deepest dive on because it's usually the one that people have the biggest stuck point on. And it's also the one where when we show you how to do it in a really fun, enjoyable way, it's like the whole world changes.
Yeah.
Right. So the key here is to stop getting stuck between hard selling or no selling and learn this third choice, this other way of approaching enrollment. And it involves helping people slow down and find their yes, yes, hell no's. What are those heartfelt, specific, scary goals that inspire and scare you? And inspire and scare them. Own those. And then actually consciously work with the fears. We teach a tool called Making Friends with Your Fears in the Selling by Giving program that starts in August. That we've had multiple 20-year veterans of psychologists and psychiatrists, who work with a lot of very challenged people and a lot of different stuff. But multiple people say that the Making Friends with Your Fear tool is the most powerful tool for working with fear they've ever seen. It's a magic trick. We do it at the live event, and we find somebody in the room who usually has a 9 out of 10 level fear. They come up on stage, and my wife Nicole and I work with them. And actually, at the last event, it was funny because I was up there with Nicole, and I got stuck. And I was like, thank God she stepped in. So it was the first time the tool didn't work for me, and she found it and clicked it, and And in the space of about 10 minutes, people go from a 8 to 9 down to like a 3.
8 to 9 in terms of like level of fear, 10 being the worst, down to a 3, making friends with their fears.
Yep.
Cool.
Right. So we teach you how to turn a conflict. Well, it's like, imagine you've got 2 fists pushing against each other. That's the yes, yes, hell, no. And we teach you how to help your clients or patients go from a conflict inside. I want to work with you, but I want to work with you, but I want to work with you, but I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I need to watch the dog. I need to take a walk. I need to paint the house. I need to wait till Mercury's out of retrograde. Whatever.
I love it.
Right? Into you, like, actually move your hands into namaste position. You help them go from pushing
like
fists
prayer,
together
like
into
prayer.
prayer.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so that's the key, is to slow down and learn how to walk people through these 6 stages of change. And each of those stages, it's actually a questioning process. You don't pitch anything. It's a very specific set of questions you help people answer at each of the 6 stages of change. And every time that you've got answers for one stage, you ask permission. Okay, is it okay if I ask some questions about, or we go to this other topic instead? And they say, yes, great. Then you ask questions there, you get their answers. And at the end of the process, they either are clear that it's not a fit, and you are too. It's like clearly not a fit for either side. Or it's a not yet. It's not a fit, but it genuinely isn't a fit right now. Or it's just a no, right? But you're not leaving them stuck in that yeah, but place.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. A few people are saying they can't see the screen. I can see the screen fine. So if you can't see the screen, just go down below and click the refresh button. So go ahead, continue.
Okay. So that's the 3rd key, conscious enrollment. And then the 4th key, which you're a master of, is conscious marketing. And this is learning how to market your services with the same level of intimacy that you deliver your services with. And one of the things I love about your work is the way you start with shared purpose and shared values. You start with what really matters rather than trying to jump to a pitch.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? So that's one of the reasons why I was so impressed with your work, starting from the first time I saw it, was because you get that intuitively and intellectually that you need to have intimacy built into your marketing. Right? I say that, imagine you got a coupon in the mail for buy one, get one free. Right? Everybody loves a buy one, get one free coupon, right? Yeah. Except that this coupon is for heart surgery.
Right.
Come on in, we'll give you a free liposuction or tummy tuck. Replace your kidney while you're at it. Yeah. Any other operation you want, come on in, buy one, get one free. Right? But if you think about it, if you're a coach, a counselor, a healer, a conscious entrepreneur, you are a heart surgeon. We operate on the things that are most intimate to people, that they care about the most. It's incredibly sacred work. It's incredibly valuable work, right? But you need to learn how to do your marketing in a way that's not, a coupon. Does that make sense?
100%. I love it.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to give one more piece here, and then we're going to give that gift again, and we might have a little bit of time for Q&A.
Sure.
I think we're about running out with the hour. So the next piece that I want to talk about is how to turn all of this selling and marketing stuff into a set of simple, invited conversations. So instead of feeling overwhelmed by 1,000,001 things you think you need to do, it turns out that each of these 4 keys can be turned into a conversation. Now, the value conversation actually turns into 2, or the value piece turns into 2 conversations, what we call the value conversation and the delivery conversation. So 4 goes to 5. Okay, and there's a specific order you can learn them in, like learning how to dance. And in the videos, I tell a story about me salsa dancing. And I am one of the whitest men you have ever met. Right? I earned those nerd glasses. And yet, I wanted the chicks, so I said I need to learn how to dance.
Smart
and
man.
A lot of the women that I was hanging with love salsa dancing. So I go, God, all right, sign me up. And I found a teacher, and I started taking classes, and I started doing individual lessons. And it took like 500 years, but I learned. And I'm actually a really good salsa dancer now.
Nice.
Okay? And I, got laid at least once out of that.
At least once. Congratulations. Now you have 2 kids.
Exactly. Now I got 2 kids, and I can remember back in the glory days. Yes. Excuse me. So, and we're going to give you more details on this in those free gifts again, just an overview of this, okay? So I'm going to compress a lot into about 5 minutes here. And if it's overwhelming, breathe, we go into more detail, we'll unpack this for you. Okay, so I just want to get you a sense of the flow. So there's these 5 conversations: a marketing conversation, a positioning conversation, which is how you describe your ideal client and the value they receive. There's the value conversation, which is helping people find the yes, hell, no goals that they most want to commit to, as well as giving tastes of value, just like we're modeling. This webinar is basically a value conversation. We're talking about the value you want, and we're giving you a taste of value. Okay. If that goes well, you'll get even more value, and then we'll, through the free gift, and then we'll invite you into an enrollment conversation where we help you get clear on whether or not this next program is a fit for you. And just invited stair steps, one at a time. Okay, and if that works well, in this case, you'd actually go to a group program rather than an individual package. So we'll actually do the group enrollment group program path. And so I'm explaining to this how these go. So there's actually 7 stages of practice building. There's 7 stages in the path to success. And there's a natural flow. You don't have to do everything this direction. If you've already jumped ahead and learned a bunch of other things, that's great. But just if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the things you think you need to learn, particularly if you've got a really big vision that scares and inspires you, let's show you the simplest, easiest step-by-step path. Okay, so the first step is when you're a student, you're learning how to deliver value. Probably everybody on the call's already completed that at least. Well done, woohoo! You've got your red belt. The second stage then is being an intern where you practice delivering value. Again, probably everybody on the call's already got that. You've worked with some clients, some patients, you've delivered value to people over time. Okay, if you've already done that, press, say yes in the chat box. People have already accomplished at least the orange belt, where you have delivered value to at least a handful of clients or patients over time.
You've delivered value to any clients or prospective clients, and I mean, it's okay, even if it's people who haven't paid you, write the word yes. Great.
That's it. You don't have to get money at this stage. You Stephanie, can, but you don't need to.
Patty, Claudia. Right. Okay, good. Keep going.
So well done. You've already gotten the first 2 stages done. Woohoo! Okay, well done. Okay. So then the third stage is where you start to charge for your services. And this is where you really do need to learn how to have the value conversation, the enrollment conversation. But it usually happens out of people you know. It's like you're starting to work your network and meet different people. Okay. So you just this straight track. Now you're only going to get so many people this way because you only know so many people. But you can usually get a handful of paid clients this way once you know how. Okay. Then the dance goes to the next level. Now you get your green belt when you're making enough money to cover your expenses. And one of the biggest things we tell you is don't take a cliff dive. A lot of times when people start doing purpose-driven work, they've got all this value, they start to see the real nature of reality and how inside out is the way to go and all these different things. They like burn their bridges, take a cliff dive, take this massive yes, hell no. You can do it, but as Brett and I will both tell you, it's not necessarily the safest, most comfortable path. So if you want to take the cliff dive, that's okay, but you don't have to. Remember, small steps to a big vision. Okay, so if you can build all the way to your green belt part-time in most cases, right? And so here's where you learn how to create referrals whenever you want them. And really cleanly, really enjoyably. How do you just go out and create referrals by giving tastes of value? What we call gift certificate marketing is one of the tools for doing that. I'm sure, Brett, if you took a look at that in 5 minutes, you could figure out how to add really cool Facebook stuff to turbocharge it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Then the 5th stage is a master practitioner where you have a full business. Now this is where you start to do education-based marketing. You often create a webinar or a speech. There's a really specific structure for how to do that. We teach that even if you're not a great speaker, you wow people. Again, Deborah was already a great speaker, but we had somebody come to our last event and speak. He's one of my clients, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate his actual delivery about a 3. He was monotonic, boring. It was not a very good speech. His slides were a 3. Okay, but he walked through the specific process we teach for his signature speech, and at the end, when we asked people how much value they got, the average scores were 9 and 10 out of 10. People were blown away by what they got from him in 30 minutes. Okay, so you don't have to be an amazing speaker. You just need to learn the right systems that really work for you. Again, it's a conversation, it's a dance, it's a specific way of asking and talking and connecting to people. Okay, so that's the 5th stage. Now, when you get to the 5th stage, you have a full abundant practice, often a 6-figure business. Okay, so I saw at least one person whose vision was to have a 6-figure business. Great, that means your vision is to get to stage 5. Beautiful goal. Okay, if you want to keep going, you don't have to. For a lot of people, their vision is somewhere between 5 and 7. So if you have a stage 6 vision of being a teacher and are doing more scalable work with people. Do you want me to stop the slides? Here, let me stop the slide.
That's not the problem. It's the
Okay.
internet connection. So if you guys aren't seeing it, just give it a second. It's your internet connection. I can see it fine.
Okay.
That just means it's your internet connection. That's all. It'll come back. Keep going.
Okay, cool. And we have these slides on the free gift, so you'll be able to see it when you download. Okay, so Indigo Belt, your teacher, now you're starting to group work. I'm modeling stage 6 and stage 7. Brett and I together doing that with you today. Okay, and then the stage 7, this is where you really start to build scalable systems. You really get into internet marketing, list building. You do JV partners. You got to work on your branding, really master group enrollment, and start to do group products. Okay, again, one step at a time. Right? You can do all of these things one little baby step at a time, where you're just learning one more step of the dance, one more step of the dance, one at a time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, I love the simple, small steps to a big vision. That makes all the sense in the world. And I was just at the Olympics, and we were watching the marathon, and and I've run a couple marathons, and you've heard the saying, every marathon begins with one step. And that's really true. A marathon sounds just so hard, and it is, but each step is actually easy. And so it's just a matter of taking those steps and just continuing and persevering, even when it gets hard.
One of my favorite stories of this, just to make a little bit of fun of myself or brag, I'm not sure which, sort of both probably. My parents laugh at it. When I was 10 years old, there was a diabetes bike-a-thon at our school in 5th grade, and there were fabulous prizes. Now, I didn't care about diabetes. I did not care about raising money for diabetes. I wanted prizes. Very clear. So I went door to door preying on our poor, unsuspecting neighbors, and they're all like signing up like 20 cents a mile, thinking he's 10, right? His bike's falling apart. How many miles could he really ride, right? And I got a bunch of pledges, and the day of the race, I just got on my bike, and I did exactly that. I just kept riding. And they had it set up in a loop where every 2 miles, people would cheer for you. I'm a Leo. I love praise. So every 2 miles, I'm getting positive reinforcement, and people are jumping up and down and cheering for me. You're doing it. Keep going. You're awesome. And they're giving me water and juice and fruit and stuff. So I just kept going until they closed the track down. At which point I'd ridden 50 miles.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredible.
And it was just exactly that. It was like I just didn't know. If I thought I was going to do 50 miles, I never could have done it. But I just rode 2 miles and got cheering. Rode 2 miles, got cheering. It was fun.
Yeah.
Right. So it just works.
Awesome.
All right. So
this is fantastic.
So this is the picture. If you unpack each of these little pieces, this is the picture that took me 10 years to learn the hard way. It makes sense of all of the different trainings, the coaching programs, all of the different puzzle pieces. You could see where they fit, right? So that you can then figure out which of these pieces you're working on, and what are the trainings or programs that are most going to help you. Does that make sense?
100%.
So we talk about that map.
Yeah, I like how it's laid out. And so you begin, if you go from the very top line, going from left to right to the connection conversation, all the way to the individual packages. I really love the, how you break it down. You start with one person. You start with adding value to one person. Don't, what doesn't work is, thinking about the marathon or the 50 miles, or saying, hey, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do $1 million in sales, and that's a big goal. You start with one person, adding value to one person through that connection conversation, that initial consultation, that individual enrollment, and give them the individual package. And then take another step, and you can graduate from there and get bigger and bigger and bigger just through baby steps. I really like that.
Perfect. So please get the gift. I think it's on the next page. There it is, sixfigurepractice.net.
Awesome. So let me put that, back in here, www.sixfigurepractice.net. All right.
And the first 2 are available today. The first 2 videos and workbooks that go with them. The third one goes online, I think, Thursday. So you'll have access to all of them by the end of the week. So please get these, download them, use them, watch them.
Cool.
Put a lot into it. And then type Facebook comments in, give us feedback. We'd love to know how they resonate for you.
Yeah, fantastic. So if you, here, I'm going to put this in, if you have gotten value from Dr. Brian's Selling by Giving presentation today, write the word value. If you've gotten value from his presentation today, write the word value, preferably in all caps. If you got big value, you know, you can always throw in, I got big value. And I would love to hear, what was your favorite part of what you just learned about selling by giving? So I'm going to just take over the screen share here for just a moment. And for those of you who have been on my presentations before, you know that I'm going to give you an extra little bonus here because I'm running an ad. So, of course, this is Brian's launch with his Selling by Giving program, and you're going to get these 3 gifts that we just gave you, and you can get them also here by going to my Facebook page and writing a comment. And the extra gift that I can give to you, so since the theme here is giving, is you can tell us specifically what value. So many people wrote value. So Yvonne, Mark, Galit, and eLearn, Claudia, Lynn, Stephanie, Rashawn, Lynn, Patty, everybody's getting value, 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 value. You guys are amazing. So if you want to take one more step here, and that is, tell us specifically what value you just learned from Brian on Facebook right now. Go to my Facebook page. So I just posted that in here. So it's facebook.com/like Bret. You can click on the Facebook page that I just posted. And we're running an ad for this right now. And if you want to piggyback on us, just go ahead and write a comment here and tell us what specific value you just learned from Brian. So in fact, I'm going to do a little post here. So it needs to be on this particular post, because for those of you who have seen me do this before, you know I'm going to create an ad. And we spend, I spend over $10,000 a month on our Facebook ads. And this ad is going to get shown to over 500,000 small business owners and entrepreneurs. And so right now, go to my Facebook page and tell us what value you learned from Dr. Brian, selling by giving books and presentation here. Okay, so just answer that question. Go to the comments right now. Be sure, so this is really important. And again, for those of you who have seen me do this, you'll know what I'm about to say here. You definitely need to make a comment. You got to click the like button. You can click the love button, but the most important is to click the share. All right, so you click the share, it pops like this, and you share it. You just click, just share. Now this one, it defaults to my page because I have a lot of pages, but click share to your own timeline and click post. That last bit is super important. And what's going to happen is, for anybody who shares it, I'll be able to see who shares it, and I can reply on your comments. When that happens, this ad getting shown to 500,000 people, those people who have shared it and made the comments, you're the ones that are going to get the visibility. So if you want to get seen by 500,000 people for free, just go and follow this, follow what I just wrote here. Go to my page right now. I can see some people. Yvonne just did it. Thank you, Yvonne. So she just commented on the link. And I'm sure she's going to share it as well. And as I mentioned, I'll be able to see whoever shares it. So there we go. Yvonne just did it. So I'm going to reply, you rock, Yvonne. And what that does is that's going to give you a lot of visibility of those 500,000 small business owners who we're going to show this ad to. Okay. So I'll just go back to, hang on just a moment here, one last Like, so I know a bunch of people are doing that right now. So again, if you want to, for free, get seen by, you know, upwards of 500,000 small business owners and entrepreneurs right now, go and make a comment here. So we can see Claudia, you're going to get seen by over 500,000 entrepreneurs. Yvonne is, Lynn Chaplin, Noe is. Hey, Lynn, good to see you here. Hey, Yosef is. So all you guys are going to get this benefit. So please take advantage of this. It's free. And don't forget to click the share button. Yes, the share button, it is self-serving to us, but hopefully we've given value to you, enough value that you thought that that was great. And remember, if you do that, you have a better chance of getting seen by the 500,000 small business owners. So with that is, Brian, what final advice do you have to anybody else who is, you know, just going out there and trying to build their business, and they've gone through some of the common struggles that we've gone through as entrepreneurs, having trouble with the enrollment conversations? You know, what kind of encouragement would you give to them?
You know, just bottom line is that voice inside of you that has been like calling you forward, and that also perhaps there's been that piece of you that has felt like, oh, this sales stuff, this marketing stuff, oh, I just don't want to do any of it. Right? If that's you, that is a yes says hell no. And it's actually your truth telling you you're on course. Right? Most people start feeling these conflicts, they procrastinate, they're frustrated, they start beating up on themselves because they've got insecurities and fears. It's like this bizarre thing happens where they think, oh, I should be perfect now. I shouldn't have these emotions. I'm meant to be helping other people. I'm a teacher or whatever. But your fears mean you're going the right way. And so just take one step at a time and get support, and then learn how to do your business consciously, because traditional business just doesn't work for what we do.
Yeah. Awesome. So last thing, thank you so much, Brian. Really appreciate it. Just a reminder to everybody right now, go to the Facebook page, and I just posted it again in the group. I'm just going to share it one last time. And so what it's going to look like here, when you go to the Facebook page, you make your comment and you post, you click on this, that's going to take you to the registration page. Let me see if, oh, since I already opted in, so I'm going right to the
no, that's it. That's the registration page.
Oh, no,
right
this is the registration page. Yeah. So you go to the registration page, you click register now, you put in your name and email, and then that's going to get you inside to the video series that you definitely want to watch. He's going to give you the 3 gifts, the 7 stages of practice building, and all the selling by giving content that really cost him $1 million and 10 years to learn, but that's what's going to help you launch your practice and really move your business and take your business up to the next level. So if you appreciated this presentation, just go ahead and write a big thank you right in the questions box there. And I want to say thank you to Brian. Really appreciate, Dr. Brian, you being here with us, and looking forward to seeing you on the inside of your Selling by Giving program.
Nice. All my best. Take care. So appreciate you. Peace and blessings.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will be back again next Tuesday. As always, same time. And until then, we'll see you soon. Namaste.